Captain Jaren Cade woke to the harsh scent of smoke and iron. His head throbbed. His vision swam in violet-tinted light. For a moment, he thought he was back in the battle pod, but the soft hum of alien energy beneath his back told him otherwise. He sat up, muscle stiff, and tried to remember the last thing before the blackout. The boarding raid? The ambush on the outer colony? Nothing came in clear fragments. Only the memory of screaming, blinding fire, and then silence. The chamber he found himself in was circular, built of polished bone-like material, etched with flowing sigils that pulsed faintly in blue. Across the room, figures moved gracefully, tall, armored women with sleek, predatory movements. Their eyes glimmered green like jungle bioluminescence. One of them stepped forward. She was taller than the rest, her braided crest glinting with metallic tips. She looked him over, tilting her head as though evaluating prey. Then she whispered, her voice low but carrying an unmistakable accusation. "You left and now you're back?" Jaren's chest tightened. Memories of fleeing the colony flashed in his mind. They had trusted him to lead the strike. He had survived, but at the cost of leaving them behind. I didn't know what else to do," he said, his voice hoarse. The Huntress narrowed her eyes but did not advance. Instead, she signaled to the others. They surrounded him, silent and tense, weapons at the ready. Jaren knew he was in their hands. Any sudden move could end his life. He forced himself to breathe, to stay calm. Humanity had survived worse than this, not by brute force alone, but by wit, adaptation, and empathy. Days passed. The Huntresses did not kill him, but they did not speak either. He learned their patterns, the silent rhythm of their routines. He observed their hunting drills in the open arenas, the way they moved with synchronized precision. Each step a calculated measure of power and grace. Jaren realized that to survive, he would have earned their trust, not as a soldier, but as a human being who could think, adapt, and contribute. He began helping them without being asked, repairing broken equipment, rationing the water filters, analyzing alien medical herbs with the limited knowledge he had. Slowly, the tribe began to accept his presence. It was Raika, the one who had first whispered his betrayal, who observed him most closely. Her gaze pierced him, reading his intentions before he acted. And when she finally spoke, it was not with accusation, but with cautious curiosity. "Why help us?" Jaren paused, searching for the right words. He knew that any lie would be fatal, because survival isn't just about strength. It's about knowing when to protect, when to build, when to heal. That's what humans do. She studied him for a long moment. Then, without warning, she moved closer, placing a hand on his chest. Not in aggression, but in a gesture that demanded understanding. "Then prove it." The true test came sooner than expected. A predator had breached the perimeter. A massive, quadrupedal creature with armor hide and tentacle-like mandibles. It moved faster than any human could, tearing through the outer patrols before anyone could react. Jaren acted instinctively. He analyzed the battlefield, identified the weak points in the beast's armored plating, and guided the Huntresses in coordinated maneuvers. Together, they lured the creature into a narrow canyon. Using a combination of alien traps and improvised explosives from his pod's wreckage, they brought it down. When the dust settled, the tribe gathered around him. Raika's eyes shone with respect. "Human, you fight differently." Jaren allowed himself a small, exhausted smile. "We fight to survive, and sometimes to save those we left behind." Weeks turned into months. Jaren adapted to the tribe's culture. He learned their language, their rituals, their way of hunting. He saw their bonds, fierce and unyielding, their loyalty absolute. And he began to understand why the tribe had survived for centuries on a planet that would have destroyed lesser species. It was not just their strength. It was their unity, their discipline, their relentless will to endure. He also began to see a path to redemption. By contributing to the tribe, guiding them through environmental hazards, and helping repair their sacred tech, he began to atone for the past. The whispers of betrayal slowly faded, replaced by cautious acceptance. But the galaxy does not wait. Scouts from a nearby Federation outpost finally located him. Their signals pierced the jungle fog, and soon a rescue team descended. The Huntresses, ever cautious, observed silently as Jaren approached the landing site. Raika stepped forward, her expression unreadable. "You leave again," she said softly. "Will you return?" Jaren looked into her eyes, understanding the weight of that question. He had survived because of their tribe, because of their trust. "I will return," he promised. "If the galaxy threatens you, I'll come back. That's what humans do." The craft lifted off, the alien world shrinking below him, but Jaren knew he had left a part of himself behind, among the Huntresses, in the rhythm of their lives and in the bond forged through survival, trust, and respect. He had awakened in a world that had judged him for leaving, but he departed as a man who had proved his worth, not just as a soldier, but as a human being.